May I request you to please explain to our viewers and give some highlights about the new education policy which was introduced last year?
Sure. Yeah. Good day to all. Uh, the National Education Policy 2020 embodies a brilliant strategy that will not only transform the country's academic system but also solve one of the biggest problems like unemployment. The new Education Policy 2020 is the first education policy of the 21st century and replacing the 34-year-old National Education Policy 1986. It builds on foundational pillars like access, equity, quality, affordability, and accountability. This policy is aligned to the 2030 Agenda of Sustainable Development and aims to transform India into a vibrant knowledge society and to make India as a global knowledge superpower by making both school and institute, college, higher education more holistic, flexible, multidisciplinary, and suited to 21st century industry needs, and aimed at bringing out the unique capabilities of students by providing customized and personalized education. So I will try to concentrate on school education first and slowly move towards higher education.
Fine.
On the school education side, if you see, ensuring the universal access at all levels of school education is one of the priority of new education policy. Early childhood care and education with new curriculum and attaining a foundational literacy and numeracy, which is very, very important. Reforms in school curriculum, emphasizing on mother tongue, the local language, regional language, what we call as medium of instruction till the grade 6 and preferably till grade 8 and beyond. And equitable and inclusive education, which is very, very important for a country like us. And we are concentrating on that. Teachers will be recruited through a robust, transparent process. The promotion will be merit-based with a mechanism of multi-source periodic performance appraisals and available progression paths to become educational administrators or teacher educators. Accreditation of the school system again is another thought process. So in short, from the school point of view, we want to make sure our children, will have an activated brain on the right as well as left. Because this balancing act, like creativity, innovation, doing vocational courses, and interacting with digital boards. So all these are a part of empowering the school education. And coming to the higher education, our more concentrated on GER, the gross enrollment ratio. So increasing the GR up to 50% by 2035 is one of the major focus area in NEP 2020 with respect to higher education. Holistic multidisciplinary education. Higher education institutes will be transformed into a large, well-resourced, vibrant, multidisciplinary institutions by providing high-quality teaching, research, entrepreneurship, innovation, startups, and community engagement. These are ingredients which are missing in the older education policy.
Exactly.
The definition of university will allow a spectrum of institutions range from a research incentive to a teaching incentive institutions. And slowly we are going to move towards autonomous degree granting institutes / colleges. Along with that, we are coming up with a teacher, empowerment. So basically, it's a faculty development programs. And we are coming up with national curriculum framework for teacher education in consultants with NCERT, so that our teachers are going to be the best of the best in the world, and they will get all kinds of research material, all kinds of advanced technologies like 21st century skills are going to get trained on all these areas. And along with that, what we realized is we have lots of outstanding senior retired faculty. So we want to utilize them. So we are creating national mission of mentoring so that this large pool of senior faculty can teach and mentor our faculty as well as students. And there's lots of effort will be made to incentivize the merit of students belongs to SC, ST, OBC, and SCDGs. So the National Scholarship Portal will be expanded to support such initiatives. And we are encouraging higher education institutes to offer a large number of free ships and scholarships to such students. And another area where we are concentrating, because after Corona, most of the people preferring the online learning. So we are opened up open and distance learning and attached that with a credit-based recognitions for all the mock courses we have.
Okay.
So this is going to be a game changer, because you can join any degree or diploma program or a mock-based program or a certification-based program, utilizing the internet access across the pan India. So this is another beautiful initiative what we are taking. And as you know, technology is playing a major role in the current educational systems. So technology became a part of education. So we come up with National Educational Technology Forum. It is going to create a platform for free exchange of digital ideas in order to use the technology to enhance learning, assessment, planning, administration, etc. I mean, it's a huge, vast subject. Maybe we can cover that in further steps.
Sure, definitely.
And in order to preserve and grow and vibrancy of our Indian languages, and national education policy, we are setting up Indian Institute of Translation and Interpretation, national institutes for language like Pali, Persian, Prakrit, etc., and strengthening the Sanskrit languages in all higher education language departments, and using mother tongue / local tongue, local language as a medium of instructions for more higher education institute programs like engineering and diploma. So this will basically preserve our culture as well as heritage and languages. All professional education will be integral part of higher education. In previous education model, it is a separate entity altogether. Now we are integrating these two together. We are creating a union. And most of the policies, our new education policy, are aiming 100% youth and adult literacy. So we are going to utilize these advanced technologies and the local language teaching, so that we will achieve the 100% adult literacy. And financing and education and educational institutes are very important. The central and states will work together to increase the public investment in education sector to reach 6% of GDP at the earliest. I mean, there is a external commercial borrowing is an element, which can be utilized by educational institutes to set up a center of excellences, to set up a startups, to start lots of research-oriented elements by taking finance, from first external commercial entities like angel investors or high net worth individuals. So these are the couple of interesting points. But since COVID, there is a tremendous change in our education system, especially teaching methods, the quality of digital content and the methodologies. So the COVID pandemic pushed the students to go remote and digital. And educators and institutes became more relevant and reliant on technology than ever before. I'm sure you also realized that after COVID pandemic, most of the people are started utilizing this advanced technologies on the institute level. So basically what we see educational institutes generate and disseminate the knowledge. They basically share the knowledge with the students. So therefore, an integrated and technology-driven systems become more efficiently instrumental in learning and exercising vocational innovation, startup, and research activities. Example, if you take, you can create a virtual labs, so that virtual labs can be a point of a source of learning. So this is the kind of a thought process what we are taking it forward, because we see 35% of 1.3 billion population of India is below 15 years of age. And if you take below 30 years, it is up to 65%. So Indian and every Indian student needs a world-class education system where the NEP 2020 is focusing. So we need to create multiple strategies, to prepare the higher education sector as well as school education sector for evolving a demand supply trends across the globe. That's where I see the new education policy comes into handy. And it has a beautiful thing like, it has a union of taking a requirements from the industry and understand what they want for next 5 to 10 years, and fine-tuning all our process educational policies in order to skill and upskill our students and faculty for their better employment opportunities. So with help of this new education policy, we as Ministry of Education, we are transforming schools, colleges and universities into interactive digital platforms by providing right set of digital experiences like Wi-Fi 6, 4G Volt or 5G, AR, VR, MVR, interactive videos, interactive PDFs to provide interactive content, personalized and customized learning, etc. So there are a couple of highlights, which we can go through, like, we are encouraging colleges to use, schools to use cloud computing, virtualization software and services. And we are encouraging them to use artificial intelligence empowered solutions and natural language processing, voice-based, speech-based applications to take our education industry forward.
Indeed, sir, this was really a very great answer from your side. You have explained every steps of this new education policy, and you have explained this very beautiful way. And sir, actually, this is a welcome change, and we must have to appreciate this. What are most actually the things which excites me most about this new education policy is there is a focus on the practical learning, and major focus is to produce more job creators rather than just job seekers. This is the most beautiful thing of this new education policy. So my next question to you is, a big opportunity for India lies in creating competent and trained manpower. Of particular concern has been the skilling of youth, which constitute nearly 68% of this country total population, as you have mentioned. So what are your recommendations to foster skilling and reskilling of youth, and how new education policy 2020 solve unemployment in our country?
As India received $375 billion as investment in last 7 years,
okay,
which means India is going to be a global manufacturing and services hub. So we are going to be a Viswaguru,
right,
in next few years, empowering the 7 crore higher education students and recent graduates to access industry-aligned courses for skilling and upskilling is a key for our Atmanirbhar Bharat, because these companies are investing, but who is going to work? So our students, recent graduates, our faculty, our researchers, our innovators, right, and our entrepreneurs, who is going to support all these investments and going to create a vibrant India. So continuous upskilling is the driving force for making India the global digital talent hub. So that's where the NEP 2020 comes into picture. NEP 2020 focuses on skilling, reskilling based education. So learning, hands-on training, cross-specialization, because till now we are specialized in one area, like, if I'm a computer science engineer, then I'm focusing only on computer science.
Exactly.
But now it opens up a cross-specialization. Even if I'm a computer science engineer, if I'm interested on learning food or maybe on any other road related technologies, we are welcoming that, and we are allowing them to do it. And there are lots of cross-specialization and mentoring sessions which leading students towards proficiency and employability, because you need some kind of a mentor. Maybe take a industry mentor who is teaching you the recent technologies in the industry, right? So that is where the new education policy comes into picture, and giving all those such opportunities to the students. So we have put in a digital platform that connects industries, employees, research institutes, social organizations with the students and the faculties, because we believe that we need to take our faculty also to along with our students,
right?
So that is where we are creating such kind of a platforms to empower both the entities, and use a potential social entrepreneur organization to enhance the internship opportunities, student experience with communities and society. Because see, we strongly believe If you work on a real-time scenario, imagine a student from a different country finishing his graduation without an experience, and our student from India, he is finishing his graduation or a diploma with the real-time experience. So he will get more preference, right? Because he
Exactly.
has a hands-on experience. So that's where we fine-tuned all our policies and making sure that we will give better opportunities and better future for our students. So in order to do that, we have created incubation centers, technology parks, to create internship opportunities. We are involved and interacting with various MNCs, and we are trying to get them on board. So in this process, we have created ACT internship portal where we have given more than 12 lakh internship opportunities to students and recent graduates
Mm.
with 70 lakh plus verified profiles. And I'm happy to share this that 38,000 plus MNCs, central government ministries, PSUs are become a part of it.
It's
And they
amazing.
all are helping our students to gain more industrial knowledge. And we are even now planning to add a vocational education for school children as a part of internship on the same portal, so that they will also start learning the things, but on a location centric. As school students are much more stationary and they are too young to move out to do an internship. So we are trying to give them internship very near to their school or their home. That's the thought process we have. So we are working on that model for school also. So very soon we will get the school children also on the portal.
The thing which you have told is really amazing and will be a welcome change for all of us, and definitely will be a game changer. And you have talked about the cross specialization. This is the thing which I like the most about this.